Alright, so we are going to be doing the accessories collection on the channel called Davian's Collection of VHS, DVDs, games, and more, where I do collection videos and some update videos. It's going to be freaking epic. Now let's get on to the video. I'm going to start with the charger cables, starting with a small micro USB connector, which works perfectly fine with no issues whatsoever. Next up is this micro USB connector, which works perfectly fine with no issues whatsoever. Next up is this long micro USB connector, which works perfectly fine with no issues whatsoever. Next up is this micro USB connector. It works, but you have to hold the charger in order to charge it. Next up is this double micro USB connector. It works, but you have to hold the device upright to charge. Now, most of my chargers do have some issues. Next up is this one, this micro USB connector. It also works, but on limited devices. Next up is this micro USB connector. It works, but it has the same issue to where you have to hold the charger upright in order to charge it. I'm recording on the LG Rebel 3. It has a bad microphone, but otherwise it works. Next up is this double charger. It's missing a lightning connector. This only has a micro USB connector. It works but on limited devices only. Now let's move on to special cords. Starting off here is this 30-pin dock connector for my iPads. It works perfectly fine with no issues whatsoever. I got it from Walmart. Next up is this DC connector for RCA products and the old phones. It works perfectly fine with no issues whatsoever. Just it has a tape on it because it's showing the wires. Lastly, for the special ones, is this cable for my cassette player. It works perfectly fine with no issues whatsoever. Now let's move on to 3.5mm headphone jacks. Starting here, this is my only one right here. This one with this special cord right here. It works perfectly fine with no issues whatsoever. Now let's move on to batteries. Starting here, I have two of my Samsung batteries. They're both untested, because I don't have any Samsung phones with the batteries yet. Next up is this Alcatel battery right here. This one's untested. Yeah, untested right here. Now let's move on to charger bricks. Starting here is this LG charger, which I use for my 30-pin dock connector. It works perfectly fine with no issues whatsoever. The other one I had to get rid of because it does not work. Next up is this on charger brick, which works perfectly fine with no issues whatsoever. The other one, it had some issues, so I got rid of it. This one does have two USBs right here. Next up is something really special with the charger bricks. Is this one right here, the Alcatel charger brick. As you can see right here, it works perfectly fine with no issues whatsoever. Now, the Alcatel battery originally came with the Alcatel Popstar, and these two batteries originally came with these two old Samsung phones that I no longer have. The Samsung SGH S125G and the Samsung SGH T245G. This one right here. This one also came with the original phone with the Alcatel Popstar. Now let's move on to random accessories. Starting off is this Sun Disk, which works perfectly fine with no issues whatsoever, but on limited devices. Next up is Samsung SIM ejection tool thing, which I do use for my LG MV3 if it fails to do Bluetooth sharing. Now let's move on to the last row, which is the USB Type-C connectors. Starting off is this one that I bought recently at Walmart. Sorry for the frames for a second. This black USB connector, my main charger. It works perfectly fine with no issues whatsoever. And last but not least is this pink colored USB Type-C connector. It works, but it does charge the Galaxy Tab A very slow, which is an issue right here, but otherwise it works. All my accessories work perfectly fine. These 3 batteries here are untested. Most of my micro USB cables have some issues right here that make them unusable. Now that's going to do with me with my accessories collection for Davian's collection of VHSs, DVDs, games, and more. Thank you for watching. I can comment. Yeah. Frame issues. I'll see you again in my next video.